Welcome to Reread. I got a big one for you today, reviewing one short story and about 8 issues of classic Star Wars, or basically all 9. The first one is from Star Wars Tales, number 3, but this one's called Lady Luck. This is written by Rich Hanley, and when I first met Mr. Hanley over the phone, I was like, oh my gosh, you wrote Idiot's Array and Lady Luck. He's like, yeah, how did you know? Because I figured out that who is this Rich Hanley guy? He loves writing Lando stories. I love Lando. And so this is basically how Lando gets Cloud City. You know, basically he loses to the Baron. However, I think all the citizens of Cloud City or the employees of Cloud City pull their money together to give Lando $5 million to go up against the Baron with all of Lando's stock, all the ships he's won over the years of gambling. He lays it all down the line for the deed to Cloud City. And of course, Lando wins, you know, with the help of Lobot gathering, you know, the money that he needs. And so now he is the keeper of Cloud City. So Lando has finally come to the spot where we're going to see him later on in Empire Strikes Back. I love this short tale. I think it's fantastic. The next thing I want to talk about is the early classic Star Wars adventures, the early years by Russ Manning. I'm just going to go through issues 1 through 9. The first one, Luke, Leia, and the droids visit a casino where Black Hole is there. Black Hole's this, you know, it looks like he's just an outline of a person. We don't know, he's very mysterious, and like the galaxy is inside him. I always thought that was kind of cool. He has black stormtroopers, which is kind of neat too. And when Luke is like winning at the casino, the stormtroopers come and Leia goes, I knew it, it was a trick. And let me see, I wrote this down. And Luke says, let's see them trick a lightsaber. Brings out the lightsaber. Oh, the cheese in this one. C-3PO and R2-D2 rush to rescue them after they get captured by his men. Now, there's a lot of little adventures here because I think this was a comic strip, and so they constantly had to have these little mini adventures all the way through. So a lot of things happen, like 3PO gets roughed up by a gang of kids who want to steal him, but then a police droid comes along and scatters them away. So it's like one little mini adventure after the next. But in issue 2, the droids are able to free Luke and Leia and Han, but there is also, which Han is somewhat captured too. I don't remember him being captured, but he's in prison too, and so is like Weasel. I don't know where he came from. I'm like, who is that guy? Like, he's in the prison with them, and then I find out that he's a rebel, I guess, because he's fighting with them, trying to escape. And then in another panel, he just gets shot and is died. He's just like the red shirt character in Star Trek. He was just a character that was meant to be put in there so that someone would die from one of the good guys, I guess. That was kind of weird, though. I'd never noticed that before. Another goofy moment here is when the droids decide that they need armor and battle tech. They need flamethrowers and machine guns and bombs, and they get all these armaments put on them, and they automatically go off by accident. And that's just as the gang of kids are about to kidnap and steal the droids again. And then when the guns and everything, bombs are blowing off everywhere, they go, you know, I wanted those droids, but not now, I don't. No, run! And they run away. It's really silly, but funny at the same time. Now in issue 3, with no preamble, Leia, Han, and R2, we are told, are captured by the Freelies. And that's what those group of hoodlums are called. They're never referred to as Freelies before them, but I guess finally Russ Manning had an idea for them. I'm going to call them Freelies. So Luke and 3PO go to the rescue, and then they are also attacked by Black Hole stormtroopers. I mean, it's just one little mini adventure after the next. Issue 4, Luke goes back to Tatooine. He visits the cantina that we first saw him in. He learns from his contact there is a deadly disease going on called the Bledsoe disease. And a Jawa keels over and starts dying there on the floor. And they're like, quick, run away. And they cover their mouth and run away. And they go, whew. I guess it's an airborne virus, and it didn't get us. We're safe. Later on, they go to old Ben's house to try to spend the night, but Tusken Raiders attack, so they have to fend off the Tusken Raiders. And then they go see Jawas near a sandcrawler who are dead, and the stormtroopers there are kind of looking into their eyes. They're like, why? They're dead. Why would they care what their eyes are like? Duh, they died of Bledsoe disease. But then a little creature comes out and bites Luke on the foot. And Luke goes, ow. And she goes, oh no, that had Bledsoe disease. Is Bledsoe disease everywhere? So now he has Bledsoe disease. It puts little legions, red legions on his skin. But most importantly, his eyes turn the color of stars and like the galaxies in his eyes. And obviously that's what the stormtroopers were looking for, so they capture Luke. They weren't interested before then when they saw him. They said, "Get away, kid." It's like, wait, he got Bledsoe disease? Let me see his eyes. Oh, the galaxy's in them. Okay, we got to take him. No. There's a pickup line somewhere in here, right? Stars in your eyes. But don't worry, because the girl that he's with is going to force the Imperial doctor to give him the cure, which we were told Bledsoe disease was so dangerous previous. But remember, that was weeks ago in the comic strip. Number 5, Princess Leia is knocked unconscious, shoved into an escape pod toward a planet to avoid death by the Empire. That is the planet where Lady Tarkin is on. She is mining something called Meganite there, and someone is stealing her Meganite. Now, Vader thinks that she's giving it to the rebellion. Why would she give it to the rebellion, says Lady Tarkin, the wife of Grand Moff Tarkin. Those rebels killed my husband. You know, and she's a shrew. You can see why Tarkin was cheating on her with Dala the whole way. Well, Leia pretends to be her slave in Lady Tarkin's household, gets exposed as a rebel, and runs away with some miners. The miners eventually die, but don't worry, Han saves Leia, because everything happens really fast in these comic strips. Number 6 involves a doctor and his daughter, Dr. Voles, who has created some kind of cyclone machine, and they want him to use it against the planet Kessel. Now, we know about the spice mines of Kessel, but this is a new Kessel we've never heard of before. This Kessel houses rebels. What? And so to penalize them for having rebels on the planet, they want to shake it up and I guess destroy the planet, and they're acting like they have his daughter hostage. They don't have his daughter, so his daughter has to use some kind of hologram projection to find him. Her hologram's like floating through the spacecraft going, Father, I'm alive, where are you? Meanwhile, you know, Han and Luke are doing the heavy work and trying to get physically to her father to save them. Of course, she'll save them. The Imperial officer who's in charge will die because the stormtroopers who were shooting at the rebels, one of the blaster bolts ricocheted and hit the Imperial captain, you know, because the good guys can't kill a bad guy, but the bad guy can meet his own demise by accident. Issue 7 stars Major Rands, who is a reptilian-like Imperial officer, a major in the army. He just looks evil. He captures the mom, the boy gets away, and then comes into the hands of Luke and Leia, basically the rebellion. And Luke and Leia are trying to connect him to his mom and save his mom before Major Rands can just kill her. And when the showdown with Major Rands, when they capture him, his skin starts to shed, and someone grabs his tail and he breaks his tail off. And then grabs this big old gun to kill Luke and Leia, this big old cannon gun. And when he fires it, oh no, it backfires and kills him because they rigged it to backfire shooting when, again, the villain can only meet their own demise through themselves and not through the hero. In issue 8, Luke, Han, and Leia go to a planet who is giving them pieces or parts to their X-Wings or fighters, and they say, hey, you've been gypping us. These pieces are junk or whatever. There's been some betrayal here. Well, the person who's in charge, the person who's been betraying the rebels, aren't the leaders of the planet, but some other second-hand guy. And what he does is he formulates a plan to capture Princess Leia. He gets his father-son to do it, but the father and son soon realize that Leia is a good person, and they're good rebels. I don't know. Anyway, Luke and Han figure out who the traitor is. They go to rescue Leia, but don't worry, the son basically protects Leia. When they were going to kill her, he protects her from all the dangers that they're in, and they escape. I think they're in these caverns or whatnot. Now, when this villain is actually captured, he has already called for Vader to come save him, but he gets captured by the Rebel Alliance, and as Darth Vader's Star Destroyer appears into the sky, he basically grabs Leia and judo slams her to the ground. That's really weird. And then he runs for it. And they're all, while they're all distracted by Vader coming in. But the person who captured Vader, the father-son team, they get in these fighters and basically, again, do something very similar to what Zhao did. They basically kamikaze into the Star Destroyer, taking it out, thereby leaving or injuring the Star Destroyer, and then Vader cannot attack with the Star Destroyer, so he has to limp away, and of course giving Luke, Leia, and Han a chance to escape, kind of making up for their sins of capturing Leia. Issue number 9, which I don't know why I put this further down the road, because it can happen right at this moment too. Luke crashes for the 6th time. He's pursuing a TIE fighter on an ice planet, and snow falls on his X-Wing. He goes, oh no, I'm losing control, the snow's too heavy, and he crashes. Crash number 6, baby. But who's on this planet? Boba Fett. And Boba Fett's there to get a traitor for the Emperor. He's working for Vader on a contract. He sees Han there, and he'd like to get Han, but remember, according to his contract with Vader, he has to get Vader's bounty first, and then he'll get Han later. Now, this kind of showcases a lot of things from Boba Fett. This flamethrower, he's got a knee dart gun or whatnot. So he's got all these weapons all over him. He's kind of cool. He and Luke are friends at first because Luke doesn't know who he is. And then later on, Han realizes immediately that's Boba Fett, the bounty hunter. You know, so that was kind of neat. That was basically Luke's first meeting with Boba Fett. Now, don't worry. In the end, Boba Fett is going to get outwitted by Han Solo again as Han Solo magnetizes the wall that Fett is behind, and his armor basically sticks him against the wall, and he and the rebels are able to escape. And, you know, Boba Fett, you know, of course, will swear vengeance on. He'll get Solo one of these days. You can't avoid me, he says. Overall, the early adventures, the classic Star Wars early adventures, they're easy reads. They're not the greatest thing in the world, but they are fun to read. And again, I would have loved to have read these comic strips when they came out as a kid. I would have died over these. I would have probably colored them in on the black and white newspaper print that it came on. Somewhere, someone probably has the original newspaper clippings, because if they're like me, we used to clip out comic strips and put them in a little book and kind of press them and save them in there like these little photo albums. So I wonder if someone's out there who has an original collection of those comic strips. They would be worth a lot these days. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now. See you later.